I was hovering over my body, watching myself convulsing. I saw my friends panic, call 911. I saw paramedics put me in a body bag. I even went to my own funeral. Have you ever had a moment when you realized that you made the wrong choices? In high school, I was freshman class president, on the honor roll, and that student who always sat in the front row and raised my hand for every question. I was that girl. No one knew I lived a double life. By the time I was 14, drugs and alcohol became my best friends. When I was drunk and high, I was able to numb my pain and escape my reality. My reality was, I hated my life. I was depressed and suicidal. When most people think of home, they think of a safe and loving place. But for me, it was where my father sexually abused me for 7 years, since I was 10 years old. Growing up in a traditional Asian household, I was taught to suppress my emotions and put on a mask of perfection. I went to a great college, had an amazing marketing career with a fancy title, and made lots of money. But every chance I had, I self-medicated with a bottle of booze. I justified my actions with my achievements. In 2014, my double life came crashing down. I overdosed and had an out-of-body, near-death experience that changed my life. After that experience, I knew I had to make different choices. So I made the intuitive choice to move from LA to Miami with no job, no plan, barely any money or friends. But for the first time in my life, I did something different. All parts of my life, I had used outside things to fill a void, whether it was relationships, work, substances, and for the first time ever, I went inward. I dove into everything I could find on personal development, holistic health, mindset mastery, wellness. I worked with energy healers, shamans, plant medicines. But the biggest game changer for me was meditation. Meditation changed my life so much, I became a certified pranayama and meditation teacher. Through my healing and transformation journey, I realized something. I had been living in victim and survivor mode for most of my life. It may have helped me during the time of abuse, but it no longer served me. In fact, it nearly almost killed me. I wanted to be a thriver. A survivor is someone who remains alive or exists. Most people are actually living in victim and survivor mode and don't even realize it. Surviving through the work week at jobs that suck the life out of them. Surviving in relationships that really don't make them happy. We survive and fall victim to many things in life, from sicknesses, trauma, divorce. But do you really want to merely exist in this life? Or do you want to thrive? A thriver is someone who flourishes, grows, and prospers despite adversity. I wanted to be a thriver. So I started making moment-to-moment choices to thrive instead of living in victim and survivor mode. I started my company, Thriver Lifestyle, because I knew that thriving was a lifelong journey, not an overnight fix. It is a continuous journey of constant evolution. I found the courage to confront my father, tell my family and friends, and started speaking my truth. I spoke on stages, wrote articles, was on podcasts, on TV. Over the years, I have helped my clients, both individuals and businesses, shift and transform how they operate from victim and survivor mode to thriving by making conscious choices. One of my clients is a bank, and we created wellness programs to help with their employees and customers have meditation tools and other tools that they can use to get out of survivor mode that causes stress and anxiety over money. Through my work, I have found that there are 4 pillars to being a thriver: consciousness, collaboration, community, and celebration. And it doesn't matter where you come from, your niche, your industry, your background, your experience. We all have the ability to be a thriver because we share a common thread. We are all human. And we all have the ability to choose what state we operate in. The first pillar is consciousness. And consciousness is the awareness of our existence. It is the thoughts, the actions, our surroundings that create our perceived reality. When we invest in our personal growth, we expand our consciousness. And there are 3 types of consciousness that we can move in and out of depending on what happens in our life and how we are feeling and thinking: victim consciousness, survivor consciousness, and thriver consciousness. When you operate from victim consciousness, you give all your power away. You take no accountability for your thoughts, your words, your actions. You live in a state of fear and scarcity. You say things like, "Why does this always happen to me? Nothing ever goes right. It's not my fault. It's hers. It's his. There's nothing I could do." When you operate from survivor consciousness, you may take some of your power back. You may take some accountability for your actions. But you put a wall up. And you disconnect yourself from genuine, authentic, vulnerable connections because you're afraid of failure, of rejection, of getting hurt again. Many overachievers, like I was, use our accolades and our achievements as our suit of armor. You can say things when you live in a scarcity mindset because you believe in competition over collaboration. You can say things like, "I don't need your help. I got this. I can do it all by myself." And my favorite, which I used to use all the time, "I'm good. I'm fine. Really, I'm fine." When you operate from thriver consciousness, you take your power back. You take full accountability for your thoughts, your words, your actions. You live in an abundance mindset. You believe in community over collaboration. And those failures, those challenges, those are opportunities for growth. You say things like, "What is this truly trying to teach me? What can I learn from all this? What can I do right now to change my state?" When we live in thriver consciousness, we realize that we have an ability to create a conscious ripple effect. A conscious ripple effect is the awareness of the continuous results of your actions. You see, when you do something good, when you change someone's life, it's not just that one person. It creates a ripple effect to their friends, their family, their colleagues. It helps them heal ancestral wounds and can change future generations. One of the most simplest yet most underutilized practices to expand our consciousness is harnessing the power of our breath. Let's all for a moment just take one conscious breath together, yeah? So we can all just sit up, stand up straight. And what I mean by a conscious breath is really just giving awareness, following that breath. So as you take a deep, slow inhale in, really follow that breath into your nose, expand your diaphragm, your lungs. And then as you slowly exhale, follow that same breath out your nose, contract your stomach, and give it back to the universe. You see, with just this one moment, this one conscious breath, you can shift your reality. You're able to have a sacred pause so that you can make more conscious choices instead of reactive ones. Imagine how your life would change if you practice this more often. Now imagine how our world would change if everyone practiced this more often. When we live in Thriver consciousness, we see the possibilities everywhere for collaboration, which brings us to our second pillar. So yes, you can do a lot on your own, absolutely. But we can do so much more together. As a collective, we can combine our past experiences, our ideas, our talents, our skills, and we can come up with innovative, creative solutions to problems, both big and small. Problems in our family, in our community, and on a global scale. You see, when we collaborate with conscious beings who also share our same principles and our values, we can create massive change. This very event, TEDx, TED, the movement, would not be possible without collaboration. And when you collaborate, you build stronger communities, which brings us to our third pillar. The famous poet John Donne said, "No man or woman is an island in of itself." Researchers from University College London did a study on thousands of people over the age of 52 and followed them for 7 to 8 years to study isolation and loneliness. And what they found was that isolation shortened one's lifespan, regardless of income or health. In communities, you may have been born into one, but you have the ability to choose communities to be a part of that resonate with you. You can find communities in person, online, and if you can't find one, you can create one, like these guys, the Bearded Boss Club. The last pillar, which we should do with all communities, is to celebrate more often. Oprah Winfrey said, "The more you praise and celebrate life, the more there is in life to celebrate." We must celebrate every day in every way. You can dance, sing, write, create art. Surround yourself with people that lift you up and impact the world. You can give gratitude. We must celebrate each other, our differences, our similarities. We must celebrate our wins, but also our losses, because those are really the opportunities we're given to flourish, prosper, and thrive. I want to celebrate a phenomenal woman by the name of Maya Angelou. And she said, "My mission in life is not merely to survive. It is to thrive with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." You see, you may have been a victim of something, but it is your choice to remain victimized for the rest of your life. You may have survived something traumatic, but it is your choice to operate in survivor mode. Or you can choose to be a thriver, to turn your pain into purpose and your trauma into triumph. You see, during my near-death experience, I actually went up back to Source, God, heaven, whatever it is that you believe in. And I experienced the most unbelievable feeling of bliss, love, and oneness. And I was given a choice to stay there or to come back. I chose to come back and have since then made a series of conscious choices that have brought me to this very moment on this very stage in front of all of you. Victim, survivor, or thriver? What would you choose? Thank you.